All right, thanks. Okay, so we're going to turn to page
Wait.
21 in
Excuse
your
me.
student workbook. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, but I'm at my mom's work right now, and I don't know. I forgot to bring my math notebook with me, and so I don't have it with me right now.
Do you want to just watch, Nina, and then you can do it when you get back home?
Okay.
It's up to you, honey. You can just watch and if you can see mine, then you can answer some questions if you can see and you know the answers, and then that might make it easier when you do go home that you can just go ahead and complete the problems on your own then.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, sure. Okay, so today I hope you had time to watch the lesson 4 video. And the teachers on there had some going over some more place value things. And the packets that we did the first couple weeks of school were a really good review for this lesson. So now everyone should be on page 21. And the must do problems for today are number 2, 3, and on numbers 2 and 3. And on this one, those rows, I'm sure we're going to have enough time. We can just do all of those together so you don't have to worry about those ones. So we're going to skip down to number 2. Number 2 says, on the place value chart below, label the units and represent the number 905,203. So is there anyone who would like to unmute themselves and tell me what place value starts here, and then I'll work my way over?
1.
Thank you. And then?
Tens.
Yep.
Hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
Thousands.
Yep.
10,000s.
Uh-huh.
100,000s.
Very good. And finally?
Millions.
Great job. Thank you. And as a quick review, every time we move from right to left in our place value chart, are we getting bigger or smaller?
Bigger.
Bigger. Very good. How many times bigger?
10 times bigger.
Yep. Now we're going to go backwards. When we start in the millions and we go back to the 100,000s, are we getting bigger or smaller?
Smaller.
How much smaller?
10 times less smaller.
Good. So instead of multiplying by 10, what operation are we doing when we're going backwards? What's the opposite of multiplication?
Division.
Good. Okay, so now we labeled our units. Now we need to show the number 905,203. Okay, so can anyone tell me what you would do to figure out where that number goes? So if we go by place value, where should this 3 go? What place?
In the ones.
Mm-hmm. And how about the 0?
In the tens.
Yep, and we're just going to work our way over. So then the 2?
In the hundreds.
Yep, the 5?
In the thousands.
The 0?
In the 10,000s.
Nina, even though that's a 0, I mean, 0 means 0. So do we have to put that there?
No.
So I can just leave it blank?
Yeah.
Would my number be the same if I erase that 0?
Yeah. Yes.
And actually wouldn't. These zeros are super important because they're telling you, even though there aren't any 10,000s, if I would erase that and not put anything else and have my 9 here, instead of it being 905,000, it would only be 95,000. So those are really important. Okay, so I have each of my digits underneath the correct place value. There's something that I can add to make sure this number is as organized as it can be. This punctuation mark also helps us be able to read numbers easier. Does anyone remember what punctuation mark that is?
Commas.
Peyton, where does my comma go?
After every 3 digits. After the millions, after the thousands, and those are the 2 commas when you have a max of 1 million.
So Peyton, should I put a comma here,
Yes.
even though I don't have any millions?
No, you shouldn't.
We don't need one here because we don't have any millions, but you are correct. We're going to separate. Now we call this a period. This is my thousands period, and this is my hundreds period. So when you're reading numbers, you're going to chunk these numbers together. So you would read this as 905 and ignore this. So that's 905. This comma tells you that's where your place value word goes. So it's 905,000, and then we chunk this together, 203. So it's very helpful when we're trying to organize and read big numbers. Okay, that leads us right into letter B. So now we want to write this number in word form. So with this number, 905,203, what form is that in, Olivia? When you use digits, what form is that?
I feel like I'm in an avalanche. I don't know which way's up. You know what I mean?
Do you remember what it's called when you use digits? Trace, do you remember? When I write a number using digits, 905,203, do you remember what that's called? Starts with an S. What form it is?
Standard.
Very good, standard form. So this is the number written in standard form. Now we need to write the number in word form. If anyone would like me to send them a copy of this cheat sheet that we made, this is very helpful when we're writing numbers, because some of them, like the number 40, it follows a weird spelling rule because it's actually not spelled just like 4. So I always keep this handy. So now we need to write this exactly how we say it. So Sarah, start for me and read this chunk. How do I read 905? How do I read that number?
905,000.
Oh, okay, stop right there. So we're going to write 905. And then Sarah told us that this comma meant 1,000. And then we should put the comma in there. Now, Trace, read this group for me. How do I read the second half of this big number?
203.
Very good. You both did an excellent job not adding that extra and in there. So writing this number in words would be 905,203. Sophia, what do we need to do for letter C?
Put the number in expanded form.
Do you remember what that means?
When you I know what it means. I know. Yeah, you expand it.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Sophia. I'm going to start in my 100,000th place. I have a 9 here. What's the value of this 9?
900,000.
Very good. So down here, I'm going to write 900,000. And then I'm going to add to that. Here I have a 0 in my 10,000th place. So I don't need to write 0. I'm going to skip over to my 5, Olivia. What's the value of this 5?
1,000.
That's the place value, but there's 5 of them. So what's the value of the 5?
5,000.
Very good. And I'm going to add to that. What comes next? I have a 2 in the hundreds place. Soren, what's the value of this 2?
Hundreds.
But there's 2 of them, so what's the value?
200.
Very good. I don't need to include a 0 tens, but I do have a 3 here. Sarah, what's the value of this 3?
3 ones.
So what's the value? What's the number? What's it worth?
3 ones.
Well, I'm going to write 3 ones here.
You just write 3.
3. So the value is 3. Soren, go ahead and read the number sentence in expanded form, please.
900. 5,200.
Stop. You forgot something really important.
900,000. 5
Plus,
plus 5,000 plus 200 plus 3.
if we put that in our calculator, what should we get as our answer?
200,000. 900. 5,203.
203. Let's try not to say that and in there because an and means we have a decimal point. So you're correct. When we put this in our calculator, we should get our standard form number as our answer. So we did this example. If number 1 is a very similar example to this one, but just using a different number. Do you have any questions about number 2? Okay, let's go ahead and turn the page. So we have a big chart in number 3, and it asks us to complete the following chart. What are the 3 things that we're responsible for doing in this chart? What do we have to add? We're going to be adding the numbers in standard form. We want to make sure that the standard form matches the word form, which also matches the expanded form. So we're going to do, how about this? We're going to do 3 together, and then I'm going to let you do 2 on your own, and then we'll check those together. So since we have the word form, we're going to read this. 2,480. So now we want to write that in standard form. So who can tell me what digits I would write here? 2,480. Sarah, what are the digits? What would I write for 2,480?
Like, how would you write it?
Yep, tell them exactly. Whatever you say, I'm going to write down. So tell me the digits.
2,480.
Okay, Sarah, read this number.
248. 480.
Try that again.
2,480.
Read this.
2,480.
Do they match? Okay, now, Sarah, we're going to break this down by place value. What's the value of this 2?
2,000.
Okay, so in an expanded form, write 2,000 plus. Sarah, what's the value of the 4?
400.
Very good. And what's the value of the 8?
80.
And do we have to add the 0 ones? Nope, we can leave that off. So our expanded form is 2,000 plus 400 plus 80. Okay, Trace, let's move on to the second row. What form did they give us in the second row?
20,482.
Okay, what form did they give us?
Standard form?
No, standard form's missing.
Expanded form.
Right, they gave it to us in expanded form. So I'm going to show you guys a little tip. What is the biggest number here? Peyton?
20,000.
Peyton, how many digits are in the number 20,000?
Five.
Okay, so now I'm going to put 1, 2, comma, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to fill it in like a puzzle. So when I look at the number 20,000, I have a 2 in my biggest place value, which is the 10,000s place. So I'm going to look over here and I know this is the 10,000s place. So that's where my 2 goes. Then I move over to the number 400. The 4 is in the hundreds place. So I'm going to look at my missing digits. I find my hundreds place and I put my 4 there. I move over to 80. I know that the 8 is in the tens place. So I look at what I have here. I know that the second smallest place value is tens. So my 8 goes there. And I have 2 ones. So I put the 2 in my ones place. What should I put in the blank?
Hello.
What goes in my blank? Sarah?
A 0.
Very good. Nina, can you read this number, please? Olivia, can you read this number?
20,482.
Good. I'm going to write down exactly what she said. 20,482. Who can tell me where my comma should go in my word form? Peyton, where does my comma go when I'm writing it in words?
After the word thousand.
Very good. 20,000, comma, 482. Okay, Sophia, on my next row, what form is given to me?
Word form.
Can you read it, please?
64,106.
Would you like to tell me how I would write that in standard form?
You'd write that 64.
Tell me what digits to write.
6.
Mhm.
4.
Mhm.
Comma. 100. Well, 1. 0. 6.
Peyton, read the number that Sophia just wrote in standard form.
64,106.
Now read the words, Peyton.
64,106.
Did they match? Very good.
Yes.
Now we're going to write in expanded form. What's the value of this 6?
60,000.
And then we're going to add to that the value of the 4. If anyone else can chime in, you can unmute yourself. What's the value of the 4?
4,000. 4,000.
Thank you. I'm going to add to that the value of the 1.
100.
And I don't need to add my 0, so I'm going to skip over to the value of 6 ones is what?
6.
Great. Okay, so we were able to fill in all 3 of these rows. Now I'm going to set my timer for, I'll give you 5 minutes. I want you to fill in the word form and the expanded form for this big number, and the word form and expanded form for this big number. Find my timer, and then we'll check it together. Okay, before I start my timer, give me a wave if you have any questions before I start it. Okay, go ahead. You may begin. If anyone needs any help, just give me a wave and I can help you. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to check. See, Trace is ready. Olivia looks ready. Soren's ready. Sarah's ready. Sophia. Nina, you ready to check, honey? All right. Okay, so now here's our first row. So we had the standard form 604,016, and in word form that would be 604,000,16. See how that matches with your work? If you need to fix anything, go ahead. And in the expanded form, I took each place value. So I have 600,000. I can skip my 10,000s because there are 0. And I add to that 4,000. I can also skip over the hundreds because there's 0 hundreds. So I have 600,000 plus 4,000 plus 10 plus 6. So if you got both of those correct, give me a thumbs up. Give me a wave if you have a question. All right, everyone looks good. Okay, last one. We have this really big number, 960,060. And in word form, that is 960,000,60. In expanded form, 900,000 plus 60,000 plus 60. Any questions with that one? Okay, so those were the must-do problems for today. If you already checked I'm going to stop sharing this so that we can